Descriptions.
Let me cut this fuckery off already. I'm sorry. I ain't mean to cut off this. Yo, chat, I just want to put some context behind it for anybody who's about to watch this. These Negroes, well, one Negro and the other albino bum, they work with Joe Budden for 6-7 years. This is year 7 for them. And it's in year 7, they're addressing things that you should have probably dealt with on day 1. There is so much hypocrisy in even them getting to this point. I can't play this video despite what their side is without reminding y'all of the things that preceded this. Chat. These dudes sat by Joe Budden while Joe Budden tore down a company, multiple companies, Spotify complex, and they agreed because their chin was bouncing off of Joe Budden's ball sack like a trampoline. They sucked him clean. They sucked him dry every single time. We saw it time and time and time again. When he was giving his story about what went on with Spotify, not one time did they bring up, hey, wait. Yo, Joe, what did Spotify even pay you in the beginning? They didn't know. But while talking about business with Spotify, they were just nodding and agreeing with Joe. Let's take my disdain and dislike for these two bums out of it. These two niggas literally agreed without knowing for years, and now we're supposed to have sympathy for them saying, oh, we're now trying to find out. Tell me if that's not ironic. Tell me if that's not ironic when these motherfuckers were talking down on people. If you weren't talking down on people, we could use ignorance as an excuse. But these are the same motherfuckers who had clips like this, and they were basically talking about other people's business sense, and this was their comments right here. Listen to this.
Are not just cool with getting fucked in the ass with no lube. Some of us are not just moving that way.
If you don't have enough fiber.
By the way, Joe was always talking about Joe. These cocksuckers, Jay-Z's pre-cum, and the albino bum Rory over the right, they were always agreeing, all while they've never seen a fucking paperwork, a document, anything of their own. It's hard for me to feel bad for you when you judge people for the very same fundamentals that you should have had. It's hard for me to feel bad for you. And by the way, as much as I dislike these bums, I am going to be objective today because I come here to give business sense. The reason why I'm going to tell you this, you can't name another motherfucking media other than Charlemagne the God that either got more than me, has accomplished as much as me, all these niggas respect me or not. I've surpassed all these niggas. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. So when we talk about business, if it's anybody you should listen to, it's none other than me. Those are none of these niggas. These niggas, they be complaining about they boss, they pay, they this, they that. You've never heard anything of the like with me. I said what I said. I don't have to include or exclude any names. I told you who. Now, listen to how these two bozos were talking about people's business. And that's the thing. You know me, I talk about sometimes people's personal life. That's why anytime I'm with a thought and a thought like expose me or shit, I got to talk about that particular person. Hey, listen, it's a fair game. It's par for the course. If you play in the mud, you gonna get muddy. That's just what it is. But when you're speaking upon other people's business, you should expect people to do the same to you, or you better have your ducks in a row. Listen to these bozos talking about other people and then think about their comments. Could it not be applied to them?
They didn't even use lube on you, my guy?
They had a, yes.
They didn't even get you wet?
They have a glove.
I feel like Rory got 2 clonics in a week before. And now I don't remember where I was, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because y'all don't need a long rant from us. We stand on this.
And this type of move ain't.
Here we go.
I think it's important for us. This type of move ain't for everybody either. Some of you niggas take what they offer. Some of you niggas can't just be throwing the office upside down. All right, that's what you're worth. Take that.
Maul is not wrong.
Yeah. Some of you are worth what they put on the table.
Yeah, some of y'all shouldn't fuck yourselves over.
Yeah.
Take that deal.
Yeah. I think that's important.
Because a lot.
Is it ironic to y'all that these two bozos, Mealy Mall, Jay-Z's pre-cum, and that other bozo over there, they're talking about niggas not knowing what they're worth and niggas should take the deal, when in reality, they don't know their own deal. I'm going to get into it. But I've always told y'all, this is what ruined these niggas' lives. I'm going to tell you that. You want to know why they're older than Joe? I'll tell you exactly why. When I started getting at both of these bums and I told them they were workers and not bosses, it made them feel like they had to go and check on Joe and figure out their own business, except what they thought they were being owners in. They never got no information. They weren't owners at all. We're going to talk about it. Let me just finish this clip and then we're going to get back to their explanation.
Y'all are smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Y'all not really talented.
The irony of that nigga saying that. Joe literally said, I'll be richer without you. If you were talented, Joe would never say that. Joe literally said, I'd be richer without this fuck nigga.
But that's neither here nor there. Watch this Chappelle.
Anyway, let's get back to this other shit.
And
just
we're
downloading
extremely
it.
grateful for that.
Fucking bootlegged it. I'm appreciated for it. Like
Absolutely.
people have just always came out for us, and I understand when people do things twice a week for however many years, you become part of their lives, and they want answers. And
Absolutely.
in some cases, I can't tell you everything just because it is personal and legal things to some degree, but there should be some actual transparency.
Oh no, we're gonna get into some personal shit.
Or some other,
we're gonna get into some personal shit. Like I'm only doing this once. I'm not one of these guys.
I want this to be the end of it. This is not
I'm
some
only
campaign.
doing
I'm
this
not going
once.
on a press run.
This isn't. I'm not here to smear nobody. I'm not here for that. This is just the truth. This is just not my truth. The truth. I think it's important because motherfuckers like to say, "Oh, my truth."
These niggas are filled with disclaimers. Jesus Christ. Let's get straight to it.
According to Joe and everyone else over there, even though this is easily Googleable, if that's a word.
It's a word today.
Within 30 seconds, I just popped up on the podcast on episode 20.
Right.
The original SoundCloud, episode number 1.
All right, I don't care about this. Let's get to business.
Be great. Then you came on the show. Seemed to number, friends talking on what he thinks he could do per month.
Right.
It's early in podcasting. I say, bet. So I called Joe. I said, hey, I just had a really interesting lunch with Elliot. Okay, what happened? I said, title, they're trying to put together this little podcast division. This is what's going on. This is what they think they could offer per month. Real casual, real regular. Never said yes or no to anything. I was just like, yeah, cool. I'll get back with the guys and we'll talk. Joe flips the fuck out on that phone. Yo, what the fuck would you ever talk about this fucking podcast to anybody? Like, flipping the fuck out. I said, Joe, I was talking to Elliot, who's a friend, and I didn't say anything but, okay, I'll talk with the guys.
Right.
Could have been a stranger on the street saying, yo, give you out $2 million tomorrow.
Let me put this in perspective. Joe's flipping. Yo, it's like the fry cook at McDonald's talking to somebody about selling McDonald's. Are you dumb, nigga? Get back to fucking cooking the fries. The fuck is you talking about the sale of the company, nigga? Some people got no business talking about certain shit. How the fuck is the worker selling the... Come on, bro. You should only worry about the fries. How the fuck you talking about the franchise? Don't make sense. You know why he's flipping out? It's not your job. It's not your product. You don't own it. You might say something or reveal something. Like conversations... Let me tell you this, and I want to give out names because these are people who have worked for me and maybe you've seen them already or continue to see them. Someone who I employed before tried and overstepped their boundary and started having conversations to try to put a price tag on DJ Akademiks, the brand, in whatever capacity. It could have been for Instagram posts, it could have been an appearance fee. Someone who clearly was out of bounds and out of their league in even having those discussions. I don't give a fuck if I told you, hey, yeah, you know, I did this like appearance at blah, 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 and this is what I got paid. This ain't your job to talk about. This ain't your job to even solicit. This ain't your job to even feel that type of conversation. You should direct the person to talk to me, the head honcho. That's it. And I'm glad all my shit just say academics. There ain't no person B, person C. It's me and whoever comes in, y'all could leave this very second. This is where podcasting probably fucked it up for Joe, because people fell in love with the Stooges. But I can understand why Joe is screaming at this nigga. If Joe probably has other things going on he's setting up, if this bozo possibly set a price, like, I ain't gonna lie, Joe would do it if we got this amount of money, people talk. This bum ain't qualified to talk about Joe Budden's business.
Oh,
Right. I'm gonna go talk to the guys.
I go talk to the guy.
Right.
Never said anything. Never went that. Was met with just a flip out.
Right.
Couple weeks later, Joe takes us outside of the Totowa studio. Yo, so I got this title deal, and said the numbers, and then they were exact same numbers, the exact same thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm going to tell y'all this. There's a lot of people who are sympathetic to these two dweebs because of either, you know, Joe's an asshole. He's an asshole. Joe's an asshole. Like, Joe could rub you the wrong way. You won't fuck him cool. But don't let it be lost upon you that if, say, for a I don't know, a panel, I would charge $15,000 to appear. I'm just throwing out numbers. Anybody who listens to this, yeah, you holla at me if you want a real price. Anyway, say that's what I charge for the last couple panels, right? Someone in my team knows this. Somebody asked them like, yo, shit, blah, 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 blah. Can I get Ak out here? Yo, if I got $15,000, would he take it? I'm sorry, it's not, you can't make that decision. Already, and we're 7 minutes into this video, Rory is exhibiting the notion that he thought he was even qualified to have those conversations. It don't matter, even if it ends up being what Joe brought back, Joe could bring it back. You can't have those conversations. This is why this whole podcast erupted and fell apart. Because Rory actually thought he was a boss. Fuck your contribution. You were seen and valued as nothing more than the fry cook at McDonald's. Nothing more, nothing less. But listen, he doesn't get it, so he's missing the bigger picture.
I think we had. Did we have an argument that day about that? Was that?
No, you guys say that was about the title deal, but I don't think that argument was about the title deal.
Okay.
I think it has something to do with Highline Ballroom or something. I didn't think the title. I don't think the title deal was ever an argument.
It was a live show.
Because the title deal, you and I thought was cool. Like, because I think it was for 6 months. It wasn't like some crazy deal. It was like, yeah, all right, maybe we'll get some bread.
Yeah.
And then move the fuck on. Granted, was it a good decision to probably turn it down? Sure. Whatever. Right. No one's ever mad about it.
Right.
Type thing. So once those deals start coming in, I'm thinking, well, we should probably just start having contract conversations. Because when we were thinking about taking the title deal, Joe and I did sit down and talk about percentages off that monthly title number.
Right.
Which happened. I don't care what you think, what your narrative is. This all happened.
Mm-hmm.
We turned down the title deal. I think, well, we should just have that conversation anyways, because we're starting to get real offers, not just little ads here and there, like $1,500, $2,500.
Right.
Like, we're getting actual offers. Are they crazy offers? No, but they're offers. So we should just do this because we're all friends. Let's just get a binding contract between all of us.
Right.
Nothing crazy, nothing to a specific deal.
Right.
Nothing to a lump sum of money, just a percentage-based shit. Let's just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Call Joe, and I say that to him. This was one of the first conversations I'd ever really been offended to Joe, and I've expressed this to him. He flipped the fuck out, called me insecure for wanting to have a contract, and said, don't call me about this shit. I said, I'm insecure because I think we're all friends, and I want to have a contract since all these deals are coming in. So once
Right.
the deals are finalized, the three of us don't have to say a fucking word to each other. We good.
Right.
We can continue on with this chemistry of this podcast.
Right.
But I'm insecure. I found that very odd. The same way he psychoanalyzes his friends, I thought that was the weirdest fucking thing on earth.
Right. You understand that
just
now,
simply-
though. You understand what that energy was about now, though.
This was just the first one.
Okay, got you.
This was just the first one. Just said to myself, well, that's kind of weird. That's not insecurity. That's just how shit goes. I called before we had any deal to talk about ownership of this podcast. Joe said otherwise. We then all agreed we'll do profit partners, which is fine. If you want to own the IP of this shit, it wasn't even an argument before my lawyer even got in on that shit. That was a simple Joe and I conversation. This your IP on your shit? Okay. But let's just be profit partners.
Right.
I'm not going to get paid off this podcast. Let's put some real sweat equity into the shit. If you want to own the shit, cool. And I won't take away from everything Joe did prior to start that podcast in the beginning. Won't take anything away from that. Never even came in on some, I need to own this shit. Did I bring it up first? Of course.
Right.
Who the fuck wouldn't?
Right.
It's a simple fucking thing. So then Spotify comes. Nick Rosenberg emails me, says, hey, I think Spotify is interested in doing some podcast stuff. I said, all right, bet. I'll put you on with Ian. At this point,
Yo, chat, this is a brief intermission, man. Roll up that Rory, runs that Black and Malls. Make sure y'all got that shit lighting and going straight in the goddamn atmosphere. These niggas talking a bunch of bullshit, but we're going to break them down like a goddamn fraction. You're hearing entitlement itself speak. When I hear these niggas talk, they sound like bitches. You get them some dick, they think that they're valued to all type of shit that you own, okay? So I'm listening to this bum-ass nigga, but watch, we'll break him down.
Spotify comes. We actually have to get these contracts done because now real money is on the table.
Right.
Not what the title deal was, not what any other ad was, not what any other thing that I'm privy to. I'm privy to. Let me make that clear. Shit that I'm privy to.
Right.
So I hit my lawyer and I say, hey, let's.
I'm glad he mentioned that. The mere fact chat, what we're going to constantly hear is that these bum-ass niggas, they're workers. As an owner, you're privy to everything. As an employee, you're privy to selective shit. As it should be. But let's keep hearing this goddamn albino bum.
Let's get a contract. I'm not the smartest person in the world, never will claim to be. I'm not a lawyer, anything like that. But when you go into a negotiation with another lawyer, you start at the top with everything, and then lawyers just start taking shit off of what's not going to happen.
Correct.
So, of course, a lawyer goes in and says, visuals. Visuals now are YouTube. Okay, let's negotiate. They say no. We get into the negotiation. Lawyer goes back and forth with his lawyer. Joe and I speak on the side, one quick conversation. I never brought up YouTube money again. Not one time. Never came out of my fucking mouth.
I think it's important to highlight that.
Never came out of my fucking mouth after a lawyer who did their fucking job and negotiated brought that shit up. I said, all right, bet. Okay, wait. So visuals are not off the table, just YouTube. I'm cool.
Right.
Never gonna hear about YouTube from me again. Like, that's whatever. Visual does not just mean YouTube. YouTube's not the only place on earth that does visual shit.
But
I'm fine with that.
Let me stop you right there. The only reason why I had a problem with that was because the podcast, yes, was the Joe Budden channel active before the podcast? Yes. It was housing his music stuff, his videos, whatever. But we know what the subscription was before we started putting the podcast on there. As we started putting the podcast on, it became a weekly thing. The subscription started to grow.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the only reason why I had an issue with that, because okay, cool. Yeah, you started this channel, no problem. But I know how YouTube, you get paid each video off of each video. So
here's the thing. That conversation did happen between the lawyers. Because I know how the YouTube splits work and what that is. I'm familiar with it. Whatever side.
Rory, you've never had a YouTube. You've never done shit. You're not familiar with shit. You're not familiar with shit. This nigga's never even attempted to make a YouTube channel. It's kind of insulting for this bum ass nigga to be like, oh, I'm familiar. No, nigga, you probably read it on a website.
I see the bigger picture. I'm not flipping about this shit at all. But so this is 2021 shit.
Nobody's being greedy.
I'm saying back then, fuck, I never cared about the money on that shit, nor did I think YouTube.
Chad, let me tell you this, man. Once I posted the mansion, the Urus, and the R8, these niggas started going crazy, man. They started going crazy, nigga. They probably thought they were supposed to know, nigga. I don't know how Joe ended up splitting all his shit with y'all. I own all my shit, okay? Wait till you see what I get next.
I see the narrative is people think that we work for Joe and we're employees and we get a salary. That's not what it was. We have a percentage-based contract.
Let me run this back again, chat. This is the first lesson. Get your pens and pads out, chat. First lesson in Business 101. These two bozos, we killed them last week. This is The Walking Dead, episode 1. Rory Runs and Black and Mole's episode. We're going to teach them about business. Let's listen to these fucking idiots right now.
Flipping about this shit at all. But so this is 2021 shit.
Nobody's being greedy.
I'm saying back then, fuck, I never cared about the money on that shit, nor did I think YouTube had some crazy payouts at that time. Mm-hmm. It was just lawyers negotiating. That's what lawyers do. It's not annoying. It's a simple fucking thing. And this was the simplest contract on earth. Mm-hmm. This shit was very easy. It was not some crazy back and forth.
But according to him, we don't know what the contract. We're percentage based.
Yes.
Because I see the narrative is people think that we work for Joe and we're employees and we get a salary. That's not what it was. We have a percentage-based contract.
And also people...
So we have to ask for accounting because how else will we know what we're supposed to get? We need to see the numbers. We get a percentage of whatever comes in for the podcast. I've seen a lot of people making, LeBron wouldn't ask Jeannie.
Wrong. Let me tell you bozos this. And this is why I know these niggas is still dumb as shit. I'm going to break it down like a fraction. One more time. You are a worker unless you own it. Having participation on profits does not mean you own it. When you own it, you get to make the decisions. This is very important for you to understand, everybody. I will give you an example. I was due 20% of everything for Everyday Struggle. Did I own it? No! These fucking idiots been talking ownership while they only had a percentage base, which honestly, that could be, to keep it real, ask Joe. When me and Joe was Everyday Struggle, all they did was trying to fix Joe's gripes was switch. There was a bonus pretty much for ads. They just switched it to percentage based. Not because you have a percentage means you are a owner. You know why? The owner is going to tell you they could do whatever the fuck they want to. And this ain't no Joe defense stream. Because I seen Complex do it with me. I heard the number that they said my first season of On the Sticks was sold for. I said, what the fuck? We eating. Then I seen the number that they said, hey, this is the numbers you could look at in regards to the show. And I said, what about the other number? Well, that's none of your business. That came to Complex. Do you own Complex? No. But I own the show. Well, we had to move this money here, move this money here, move this money here, move this money here, and then we move this money to your show. You think I could ask them? No, I want to see what y'all did with the other. No. You don't own it. Mealy Mall, whether you want to accept it or not, you're a fucking worker. Rory, you're a worker. Joe Budden owns the product. I just said it. If you own the IP, if you own the business, you own it. That's it. However you get paid, some people might say, and that was a case with me. By the way, interesting fun fact. I'm using real life experience to educate y'all. I missed out on maybe $100,000, maybe $200,000 with Complex. Because I chose to take a bigger percentage in profits than take a set salary that was higher. So when we compared it all, I told him, I said, if y'all betting all the chips on Ak, I'm betting all the chips on the situation. I want to be a participant with the profits. They offered, or they would have given me more money if I didn't try to get percentage. I'm trying to give y'all real business explanations while these two bozos, yo, Millie Mo, you're fucking 40. Your brother was Biggs who worked with Rockefeller. How could you be this fucking dumb? It looks like if it don't got nothing to do with Tide Pods and motherfucking detergent, your brain don't work. You're not an owner if you don't own the product. I thought when y'all was talking ownership, y'all could say, we own a quarter of the Joe Budden podcast. Not that y'all were entitled to a percent of the ads or deals that came in. Profit participation doesn't mean ownership. Ownership means you can't get fired like that. Ownership means you get a say-so. Ownership means you already should be seeing the books. But 6 years later, what this whole fucking video is, y'all are accusing a nigga who, by the way, probably was, you know why Joe probably felt offended, if you really ask me? Because in growing every business, and when sometimes you know, Joe been rich, I'm rich, but if I'm working with somebody I know ain't got shit, I might have to, I gave you the chosen example already. Nigga, I'm paying you, but I'm taking a loss, but I already got money, so I know you got to eat, blah, 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 blah. Joe probably felt a little offended because when the podcast wasn't making money, because Joe don't do ads, the podcast don't do ads. If y'all saying y'all were getting $1,500 for ads for a week, nigga, by the time I'm done with my 3-hour nap that I take every morning, $1,500? But think about it, y'all do a podcast at least that time for once a week. $1,500, that podcast ain't making shit. Yet, he probably got to help pay both y'all rent, transportation, all type of shit. Joe was probably taking a loss at a point. Of course, if I'm taking a loss and we finally get to the point where we're getting a little bit profitable and now you're super on my ass when I wasn't making shit, you weren't trying to give me a break. Yeah, I would feel a little bit type of way. By the way, I'll put it out there too. This ain't no Joe Defense stream. I don't think Joe's a great CEO anyway. Joe needs somebody who should really handle it. I don't know if it's Ian or somebody else, but Joe's not a great CEO, clearly. And it's very hard to really be whatever. I've only been able to do it myself because when people think about working for me, they always realize this ain't called Complex. This ain't called Revolt. This is called DJ Akademiks. He's right here. You either do your job, punch numbers, or you dip. There's not one person who brings more value to what I do than the guy right here. For Joe and this podcast, people thought different. So I'm breaking it down. But if Millie Mo and Rory start a video off and 14 minutes in, they're saying they weren't workers. And they're explaining to y'all that they were owed. And by the way, I knew that's what it was. They're owed whatever percent on profits that company makes. Doesn't mean you owe the company. You own the company. Doesn't mean you make decisions. Also, you know, with that, let me give you a little bit more realistic approach. Them niggas could have probably thought, no, Joe should take the Spotify deal. Because say they're both supposed to get 25%. Let's say the Spotify deal was $10 million. It would be 2.5 million, 2.5 million. That's if Joe takes the deal. Y'all don't own it. Joe could turn down all the, and that's the real problem here. Joe had unilateral power to turn down and control the business. That's exactly why I said to them, y'all are not owners. Joe, even though he's saying it on the podcast when he said, oh, we're all in this and we're turning down Spotify, Joe make that decision, not y'all. You're a worker. Don't try to spin a narrative. Even if it's a percentage, you're a worker. But I'm going to keep listening to these fucking bums.
He busts for the books for the Lakers. I'm like, LeBron is a salary. He don't give a fuck what the Lakers makes as long as he makes $50 million at the end of the year. He doesn't give a fuck what the Lakers make. But if he was getting a...
This is why I hate street niggas, because they're so simple-minded in thinking. Most corporate jobs, maybe it's not percentage made of what the company is getting, but there's a lot of incentives and bonuses. That is very normal of any contract in a corporate setting. Hey, if your department gets to this goal, blah, 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 you're going to get $10,000 here. If y'all do this, you get blah, blah, blah. If this deal goes through, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's allocations. There's a lot of shit that goes into business that is not just a set salary. So if these bozos are confused that you're not a worker because your compensation is more complex than a set salary that can't change, they're fucking idiots. And these are the bums that y'all have been listening to for so long talk about niggas like me. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Percentage, if he was getting 30% a year, he would need to know what the Lakers made that year.
That's just basic.
So that's just to kill that narrative of we were asking to see the books and we are employees and that whole stupid narrative. We had a percentage-based contract.
Chat. If they claim they weren't employees, I was an employee at Complex. I own Complex then. Just listen to that. By the way, I asked Complex as well. I say, hey, I want to see the books for Everyday Struggle. I want to see the books. Yeah, I asked them that. They sent me the books too. I don't get to see the books for Complex. But for the show, I get to see it. Doesn't mean I'm not a fucking employee.
So you have to see the numbers so that you see everything that's coming in and everything that's going out.
So we get to accounting, which is in our contract that was drawn up by Joe's lawyer, my lawyer, Maul's lawyer, super standard with profit. That becomes an issue. I want to make this clear throughout the rest of this response that I asked always the simplest questions ever. This narrative of me being this difficult person or this person wilding out, I also have those emails that everyone speaks about where I'm being difficult. Mm-hmm. I don't know how dumb you think I am, but accounting is not some shit you send in a 5-line item in the body of an email.
Right.
Just want to make that clear.
Right.
And when I asked for accounting, I didn't think asking for what's in your contract is such a fucking crazy thing to ask somebody, your friend or not. And on top of that, I sit behind the accounting expense.
Right.
I'm not going to say the company's name because it's not important.
Right.
But they're not a cheap company to hire.
Right.
They're expensive. And whether they do Joe's personal life, not my business, do not care at all. Nor am I trying to get into Joe's personal life or personal business outside of the podcast.
We just talking about the contract that
I
we
sit
have.
behind that expense and it's in my contract. If I ask the simple fucking question of, hey, let me see the accounting, because it's also supposed to be there quarterly by law. And
that's another thing. You're supposed to. Well, we're supposed to get accounting quarterly. If you want to do it twice a year, that's cool. Whatever. But I'm
fine with that.
Right, but I think
it don't even need to be quarterly.
Right, but
it could be once a year.
I think
I'm
that
easy
people
to work with.
Right, people don't understand that this isn't something that just happened last month or March. Like, we were trying to just get some type of accounting since 2019, maybe.
No, way before that.
All I can remember is 2019.
Yeah, I'd have to look back.
Like, we had tried to get some type of accounting when we had the conversation outside of the studio. Like, yo, we never got accounting. Like, what's up? What's going on? You know, we just need to see what's going on with the numbers. And it's like every time it came to talk about accounting or business, it was always, you know, some negative energy coming from him. And that's telling to me. It's like, why are you getting so defensive when we're asking for something that's just protocol in business when you have a contract based off of profit percentages and all of that? Like, this is basic shit we're asking for.
And still, by the way, in the beginning when Mo and I were asking, because I initially asked and got back bodies of emails when it came to tour accounting, Spotify accounting, whatever we was.
Chat. These niggas talking. That's why I hate these bum ass things. Yo, y'all are terribly at being orators. Stop fucking talking so much and not saying shit. Let me just say what these bozos are walking around. These two dweebs never knew how much Spotify signed the Joe Budden podcast for. Let's put that out there. They never knew how much the podcast they were on was signed for at Spotify. Do you see why I took issue with them cocksucking Joe when they don't even know how much Spotify gave Joe? They don't know how much Spotify offered Joe. You heard that nigga allude to it before. It was what they're privy to. They never knew how much they were getting paid by Spotify. You know why? Spotify never dealt with them. They were dealing with Joe. So now they're mad that Joe didn't disclose it to them. Let's be clear. They're mad that Joe didn't tell them how much Spotify signed them to in the first place for the first couple years and how much the new offer was that Joe turned down. That's why they're mad. But yet, these were the same niggas that sat right next to Joe when they said, yo, we got a plan. We know what we doing. Yo, we handle business. But y'all was just dick riding. It's come out. Y'all don't know. Y'all are saying we were asking the nigga never told us. Why the fuck was you dick riding then? Why the fuck were you blindly just going along with some shit? How could y'all be trusted? Why should we have sympathy for you? You should have brought it up then if you was real. I'm not going to co-sign a nigga complaining about a company. Here's the thing, Rory and Millie Moore, that company probably look at y'all a little bit type of way because you were sitting right next to the nigga while he's slandering them. You should have came out and said, bro, yo, Joe, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't even really know what they really offer you. We just know what you told us. We asked you to see shit, you don't show us nothing. You should have said it back then. Y'all grown ass men, y'all not bitching now. What I'm saying is y'all put this out to keep people on y'all side and drum up sympathy, but how could I have sympathy for y'all even if I didn't dislike this motherfucker that's up on top of the screen right there? Y'all was talking like y'all knew. Now y'all telling us y'all didn't know. What?
Doing. Mm-hmm. Which again was not complaining in that type of sense. Or say just send over like the real shit when you get a chance. Like I understand people are working. That was met with such tension every time I asked a simple question. My naive ass, nothing's wrong.
Right.
I'm taking accountability on that. Nothing's wrong.
But we took it.
I also want to make that clear because that became a narrative, even though it is later on in what I want to get to. I don't think anyone's a thief.
We never said that.
I don't think anyone's stealing. I never even said, hey.
It was a simple.
This is missing.
Can we just have the accounting?
At this point.
Yeah, we just wanted the accounting. And I, from what I remember in 2019, when we finally got it, there was a quote unquote $400 and something thousand mistake.
So
I don't know what accountant makes a $400,000 mistake.
So,
but okay, you know, nobody's perfect. So I'm putting that out there. But it was just a little weird to me.
So end of 2019, yes, you are correct in that timeline. End of 2019 is when we got the Excel sheet accounting. They went from the body of the email and then just gave me an Excel sheet with a few more line items.
Let's be very clear. In 2019, these niggas are on Spotify. Let's be very fucking clear because, again, these niggas are trying to play victim when they used to talk shit on everybody else and used to talk about they got a plan, they know business enter. 2019, they're on Spotify. 2019, they're basically admitting that they're querying and asking Joe Budden how much money is really coming in because they're on Spotify, and you would imagine the way they talked later that they knew, but they did not know shit. This is factual, people.
And my high school diploma asked before I sent it to my accountant, which also is standard business. You're not offending your friends. This is just how shit works. I'm not calling anyone a thief.
Right.
People have accountants not because people are thieves.
Right.
Just because of that.
Right.
They have them because they need to monitor their fucking money.
Right.
I find something immediately. And I don't get disrespectful because I understand people make mistakes. And nor do I think people are stealing. That's my man. I love him. I don't think he's stealing from me.
Right.
This is some shit we doing. And I know Joe got a lot of other shit going on. I got a lot of other shit going on. You got a lot of other shit going on. People make mistakes.
Right.
Nor do I, and by the way, nor do I think Joe did the accounting.
Right.
The people that was hired to do it did it. So I send that back. I say, hey, this appears to be a mistake. If I'm wrong, let me know. They come back and say, this big accounting company, which I will not say, said, you're right. That's a mistake.
Yeah.
We were wrong. I say, okay, cool. Then I watch Joe say, in a very condescending, sarcastic tone, Rory came to me and said, it's not that I don't trust you, it's that I don't trust wealth management. Well, he said the name, so I can say it. Fam, yeah, I don't care how condescending you say that. And it contradicts the fuck what you were saying. I never thought you were stealing.
Right.
I'm trying to understand what the fuck they're doing over here because this is incorrect.
Right.
And I sit behind this expense.
More importantly, I'm paying for this. Right.
Again, these bum ass niggas talk too much. Let me tell you also what I've heard because I was at the I was at the gun range. Doing my little thing earlier. Got to stay prepared. But I heard that this was coming, and in having conversations and whatever. They're taking a long time to get to the point. These bozos are claiming, I don't know if they'll say it on this video, but they're claiming this is what they are saying to people, to lawyers, to managers, to friends, to industry aficionados, that they believe Joe, they're being really kind of like dicey on if they're trying to call him a thief, but they're saying that Joe owes them money and they feel it's in the millions. Okay? That's what I heard. Okay? Also heard that it probably will go to a lawyer or possibly lawsuits because with that particular amount of money, even more than Rory, niggas like Mealy Mall, actually I heard he was present, niggas want to get paid. Now, just putting everything together, because they're talking too slow. These things are, who the fuck listens to them? They're saying they have a profit participation with the Joe Budden podcast. Not owners, you're still workers, but you're having a profit participation as talent. Cool. Now, if you're feeling you're owed millions of dollars, you mean, and I don't know what profit or what's the percentage on the participation, you probably think that Joe has gotten millions of dollars that you have not shared in, right? I guess that's up for debate. I don't know. I don't know Joe Budden's business. You know what I mean? I always said that, like, if Joe did sign a contract with them to say they have profit participation in the podcast, I'm going to be honest with you, Joe, I love you, but you fucked up. If you were going to run the business like that, it's your IP, you own whatever, you should have never offered them that. Because here's the thing, Joe. Most of these deals coming in, and you know this well, they're coming in for you. They're not coming in because of these two niggas. Again, the Spotify deal, Spotify never felt a need to talk to them. They felt a need to talk to you. Just like Revolt. They didn't feel a need to talk to me. They felt a need to talk to you. Who are they trying to give these deals to? Those people they're talking to. So Spotify was trying to give you the money. Revolt was trying to give you the money. I'm pretty sure, and I think I hear the Cash App deal is on his podcast now, but that was on his pull-up episodes before. Cash App was trying to give you the money. Now, you fucked up if you allowed these niggas to basically be owed a percentage off of your podcast, and then all those deals end up being on the podcast. They might have a point. I'm being honest. That's where Joe might have fucked up. That's just what it is. But I do believe Joe's probably thinks these deals came in because of me. Well, if that's your thought, you should never offer profit participation to the bozos, to the stooges. That's a fact. I'm not here to, again, I'm impartial with it. That's why these bum ass niggas been driving Kias and all that shit, man. They trying to level up. I get it. Joe, you might have fucked up, and if you fucked up, you might have to pay up. But you should never because I really feel Joe feels all these deals came in because of me. Right now, any deal I've ever talked about, I pitched a show, by the way. I pitched a show with me and somebody else. I won't tell you who it is. You know what the person told me? Pitch it as if you're the only entity on the show. Because it's more difficult to deal with two people than it is to deal with one. And I realized that they were basically telling me, we want you primarily. It doesn't matter if the other person's there. If you want to include them, you do it on your own time. But we only want to deal with you. Which, you know what that's going to tell me? They're offering this money primarily for me. I'm giving you exactly what's going on with Joe. Joe probably feel a little bit away about splitting in certain ways with these bum-ass niggas because everybody is only dealing with him. And that's what I was saying about these two stooges. We're 19 minutes in. I'm going to keep playing what these bums are saying in a second. But let's just be very clear. What they're definitely not going to touch on during this whole little speech that they're doing, trying to explain shit away. Why in 6 years did y'all never do anything outside of the show to create additional value and additional leverage? Why? Because before Joe talked, I thought Joe was preventing them from doing it. And that would make sense. If I prevented somebody from branching out, of course I got to give them some type of value into what they're locked into doing solely. But these niggas have never done anything else but this. Why haven't they talked about that? Because you're not sitting up here with a little mean screw face talking about, yeah, $400,000 is a lot of money, but if $400,000 is what you're owed over 6 years that you supposedly ain't get, how much are you really getting? Now, I know $400,000 is a lot of money, 100%. But that's about, you're pretty much saying for two of y'all, let's do the math, $400,000, 6 years, right? Even if it was 4 years, it would be $100,000 per year. If it's 6 years, it's probably about $80,000 a year. It's two of y'all arguing about $40,000 a year over 6 years. Huh? I'm just trying to put it in perspective. But listen to this.
And on top of that, there should already be podcast accounting. Mm-hmm. You saying everyone has to run and do all this, and you're taking away from the overall goal. But like, fam, I'm just asking what's in the contract. Your lawyer, if you should know you should know your contract the same way you're saying that to me. If this was going to be an issue, you should have told your lawyer that you did not agree on accounting.
Right. Yeah.
Your lawyer agreed to accounting. Mm-hmm. A body of an email and an Excel spreadsheet that people punch numbers into is not accounting. I don't care what you say. As a profit partner, that's not how it works.
It's not accounting.
I've talked with every lawyer and accountant I possibly fucking could have because I didn't want to be wrong on this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm new to this the same way we all were new to this. Mm-hmm. We've all run business shit outside of this, but this is a new thing, especially to the degree of money that the three of us have gotten from it.
Right.
Rory, I'm going to give you another business lesson. Again, in a place where income is coming in from many different places, you're not entitled to see every single thing. I keep telling you, you are a worker. When Complex gave me the accounting for everyday struggle, they're not telling me what other complex entities that I have I heard about what money came in, but they don't have to tell me where that went. All they got to tell me is how much was allocated for my show. I've been telling y'all this. The reason why, even if Joe Budden's finessing y'all are gonna feel it, and y'all probably gonna have to hold that L. Joe Budden makes a lot of money from a lot of different places. Y'all are only in concern or should only care about the podcast. Because of that, you really can't, you're not like, I know y'all saying y'all auditing the podcast, but really y'all want to audit Joe. Joe also is seen as a podcast by some. Remember I just said, Cash App gave that nigga money for the pull-up, and then he was able to, because they really only want Joe. Joe was able to throw that Cash App sponsorship to the podcast. Do you understand what I mean? That's where it gets tricky. I hope you guys are staying on. These are dumbass niggas. I ain't gonna lie to you. They probably don't get it. The point is this. Joe is not only getting money from the podcast. Y'all are only getting money from the podcast. If Joe wants to finesse you, he could do it in mad different ways. You know why? Because Joe could just basically claim that Cash App deal, even though it's on the podcast, 80% of that is for Joe personally and 20% of the podcast. You know why he could do that? Because Joe owns the fucking... He's Joe. He's complex in that situation. I seen how much money that a company cut for on the Sticks the first season. I said, oh my God. After we do our profit participation splits, I'm going to have a bag for just 6 episodes. By the time I got accounting, it wasn't half the money that I heard. It wasn't even, no, it was about 1/3 the money. Was it 1/3? No, a quarter of the money. You know why? Being the owner, you get to allocate shit. I got the deal. I'm the owner. Only a quarter goes to that show. A quarter is going over here. A quarter is going over here. We did a bigger deal with that particular company. If you're not a boss, who are you to say that the deal with Cash App, that Joe Budden Spotify deal, was solely only for the podcast? Y'all have never seen those contracts. It's easy for Joe to finesse y'all, you dumbass niggas. And that's exactly why I keep saying, when y'all keep talking y'all not workers, you are workers. Because even if you audit him, he could just put some shit in a fucking column that it's none of your business. He only has to show you what is allocated for the podcast. Who makes the determination what money goes to the podcast versus what is for the network versus what is for Joe Budden primarily? Joe does. Patreon. If Patreon gave Joe $1 million, they gave him a title, and also the podcast is over there, you know what he could say? $950,000 is for me as a salary. $50,000 goes to the podcast. Now you can sit there all blue in the face, so you want, well, they wouldn't have gave you that if the podcast was in there. That's cool, but you don't own it. You don't fucking own it, dummies. I'm telling you, even if he's finessing y'all, robbing y'all blind, this is the same thing I was telling y'all when y'all ain't at the table that's really breaking bread, negotiating deals, and making decisions. That's why you're a worker. After my experience with Complex, I learned so many different things. I don't want to front some of my own moves, just trying to make a point. But I said, I need these relationships and I need to be Complex. Joe dealt with Complex and he got fucked. You think Joe didn't think the same thing? We giving you business. And I'm glad, at least so far, y'all ain't confusing friendship and business, but that's what y'all did when y'all went back. Oh, no, we friends, you're not supposed... No, it's business, niggas. But let's listen to these niggas.
This is a new thing. Right. So I went back and double checked because I don't even want to accuse my man that maybe I'm wrong because everything I've done has been through ledgers, QuickBooks.
It was never no
everything.
accusations.
Ever.
It was
Not
never.
once.
It was never. He was the one that brought that to the table. Like, you know, y'all are trying to paint me a certain way, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we're just saying that we received accounting, and then there was a $400 and something thousand quote unquote mistake, and after that we never got accounting again. So I'm just like, all right, so what the fuck is going on? Like, is the mistake fixed? Can we get the updated version of accounting? Like, nothing.
So wealth management hits me, says, hey, yeah, we made a mistake. We're correcting the mistake. Here you go. I said, okay, bet. I talked with Joe or I talked with Ian. Honestly, can't remember. About a better strategy to go about doing this. From RIP, I've always been the one on trying to do a better strategy with going about these things because I've noticed and at this point, not mad at it. I've just noticed anytime I ask a very simple question, I'm met with so much anger and tension off like, whoa, what the fuck? Okay. Mm-hmm. So my accountant gets on with wealth management. My lawyer gets on with wealth management. They even talk about, yo, just come down. We'll open shit up. You guys can look at it. I wasn't even going to go. Why would I go? I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. My accountant can go. Mm-hmm. Just to get the right.
I hate these niggas. I fucking hate them. Let me tell you why I hate these niggas. Chat, if it's not apparent by how I act and how I move, I live, breathe, shit, sleep. I dream about hip-hop, what I do. This is my life. I don't even like, my fun is this. This is more fun. This is more fun than anything I do in life. Maybe other than fucking. That's it. But that should be clear and apparent to anybody who watch me. I hate niggas like this because they always are trying to act too cool. Nah, I don't care. Bro, you literally haven't showed up to your job for like 8 weeks because you do care. Bro, this is all y'all do. This is exactly why, like, I'll be saying y'all are frauds. Y'all are mad at the nigga because you think he robbing you. You do care. You asked for an audit. You had to hire a lawyer. You had to hire maybe your own accountant, people to go over their numbers. What you mean you don't care? You trying to act cool? Well, all right, cool. All right, get robbed and be cool. Get robbed and be cool. I care about everything. You hear this bum ass thing? Why would I go check out? They said I could come look at the numbers. Why would I go check it out? I don't care. Nigga, you are doing this whole thing because of the numbers. Joe said it. The magic word in the room, the A word is called accounting. Are you dumb? This is exactly why when Joe counters their points by saying, y'all don't care about the business that I care about a lot, I have to agree with Joe. How could y'all complain about money and accounting and then the same breath also say you don't care?
Question, I met with so much anger and tension off like, whoa, what the fuck? Okay. Mm-hmm. So my accountant gets on with wealth management. My lawyer gets on with wealth management. They even talk about, yo, just come down. We'll open shit up. You guys can look at it. I wasn't even going to go. Why would I go? I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. My accountant can go. Mm-hmm. Just to get the regular shit, because maybe they have a lot going on, and maybe my accountant can just look at it and be like, all right, bet. That's the end of 2019. Pandemic hits. Who gives a fuck?
No, we had a talk. No, because we can't skip over this. We had a talk before the pandemic hit about accounting again. And this was right after Cole passed away, and we were outside the studio. And he was the first, because now I'm seeing this narrative that we're auditing him.
Oh, yeah.
He was the first one that even brought auditing to the table. When we asked him for accounting, he said, y'all got accounting. We said, yeah, but that was wrong. It was a mistake on that. Like, where's the new one? And he was like, oh, y'all trying to paint me away, da-da-da. And I'm like, no, we just want the correct accounting. Oh, well, then audit me then. And I'm like, audit you? I'm like, bro, fam, that's nasty. I'm not taking my niggas to court. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's just...
Chat, I hate these bum ass niggas, man. Because I hate, yo. Chat, do you understand that these niggas, I'm going to restate the position that I've heard. They feel Joe owes them millions of dollars. I've heard that Mealy Mole is like, fuck it. I guess we might not end up be friends, whatever, but the nigga owes me bread, and I want my money. Bro, Joe ain't gonna just hand y'all money. You probably are gonna have to sue him. I hate that these niggas are still trying to drive home this narrative like they're too real for what's actually going on. This is a business dispute at this point, and lawyers are and will be involved. I remember a couple weeks ago, niggas like, oh, Ackle's lying, they're about to sue. Yes, nigga, lawyers are gonna be involved. Joe is not giving these bum-ass niggas millions of dollars out the blue for nothing. If they want it, they're gonna have to sue. But you keep hearing these things. I don't want to. Bro, like, that's where y'all at with it, you dumbass nigga.
It's just not, but again, looking back, everything makes sense now. Like, everything is starting to come together and paint a picture, because it's like, yo, why do you always get so hostile and so argumentative when we're trying to just get the business side right and focused and taken care of?
Which isn't even a large part of the business. Honestly,
it's not.
There's so much more.
But it's like, fam, you got to remember, again, we're profit partners. We're a percentage based We have a percentage-based contract, an agreement where we get a percentage off of everything that's coming in for the pod. So we have to see the money that's coming in. How else will we know what the fuck we getting? And then he had the nerve to say, one of the last conversations we had, he tells me, "Oh, you got a calculator, right?"
Yeah.
And this for me. This is when
my story.
This is when for me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to pull away from this in a minute because I don't even know who this nigga is anymore, and I don't know who this nigga think he talking to. And I'm not trying to. That energy to me is corny to even have that type.
Chat, business and friendship don't work. I haven't spoke to Joe in weeks, so don't think that this is what Joe told. No. If you ask me, Joe still feels a way because he brought it up randomly. That this nigga who was homeless, hiding detergent and Tide Pods under his pillow, and literally without a future, his brother didn't give a fuck about him, is now pressing him for money when Joe was nice enough to give him an opportunity. Again, Joe ain't the best CEO because Joe is also kind of like them in mixing feelings and business. So he's like, damn, a nigga who was living with me, like loafing off of me, selfish as fuck, hiding Tide Pods under his pillows. This motherfucker is pressing me about money? Maybe I can understand. Not saying Joe is right, because business is business. But that's why when you go into business with your friends, you have to establish clear boundaries.
Type of energy with niggas you call your friends. Like, I don't even want to have that type of energy on me, right? So when he started talking like that, and I told you this, I said, fam, I'm not even sure who this nigga is anymore. Because he's saying things, he's moving a certain way, he's wearing funny hats. I don't know who this nigga is.
That's a great comment right there. I don't know who this nigga is. He's saying things, he's moving weird, he's wearing funny hats. Let me just put that in perspective for y'all. Joe recently, I don't know if somebody just introduced him to Short Hills Mall in New Jersey, or like he just finally got a plug that got all the high fashion designer people on deck, but he been wearing Mary hats, Fendi hats like it's going out of style. Okay, just like I wear fitteds. Okay, now you see that comment right there cannot be just taken in jest. I'm gonna tell you why. These two niggas, and this is my belief. Joe ain't tell me shit. It's my belief that these two niggas and some of the problems that really got brought to the forefront, they've been watching Joe's pockets. They've been watching Joe, who, by the way, even though he always has some shit, you know, he never was living as luxurious as he's been living recently. He's never been wearing as much designer shit as he's living recently. And I thought about it, and I gave y'all an example before. If I had an employee that said, yo, did I really buy 2 supercars in the last 6 months? Yo, I'm firing you off the rip. That's none of your fucking business. I get my money from 10 different sources. You worry about what the fuck you got going on. These niggas have been watching Joe's pockets. So when they're seeing, oh, wait, Joe just paid some money for some new teeth. Joe just did this. Joe brought his girl here. Joe spending this on this. Joe on Clubhouse like paying for chicks BBLs. Yo, Joe doing this. They're counting his money. They're counting his money. But here's the thing I think they're wrong on. They think that the money that he's spending came from their hard work. That's where I would disagree. Maybe he did, but I would disagree. In the last 2 years, I seen Joe in like 2 seasons of Love and Hip Hop. I seen Joe. Joe been all over the place like he's a goddamn Mexican, and I love my Mexican people, but we all know when it comes to Mexicans and Jamaicans, we know how to secure a bag. We'll have 30 jobs just to get that check. I see Joe all over the place. Pull Up, Revolt, podcasts, multiple podcasts, Spotify. I see that nigga everywhere. That nigga was about collecting the fucking bag. These bum ass niggas, because they're entitled, think that Joe is spending the money that they are earning Joe.
Is anymore.
Don't do that.
I'm just being real. I never seen a nigga wear a Mary hat in my life.
I wasn't mad at some lads, man.
I'm just saying I've never seen a nigga wearing a Mary hat in my life.
By the way, I see some people commenting it, and again, I told you I'm being fair, neutral, and impartial, even though these fucking bums really only deserve about $15,000 a year. But fine, you know, I'm gonna entertain y'all today. Some people say, yo, well, $400,000 being missing from the account, and that's really serious. That is serious, okay? But truth be told, I'm gonna just say this. I can't comment on that when I was talking to somebody today. I won't say the name. And they said, yo, these guys have some compelling points against Joe. You know what I told them? Joe is like me, I think. I will embarrass myself to embarrass you. You'll never out-truth me. Always remember that. You will never out-truth me. I will expose me to expose you. I will do it every single day. And when y'all come on here and y'all start saying 400,000, let me tell y'all how you should have done it if a nigga like me is going to believe you. Let's start it from day one. You see me? Remember the day I told Freddie Gibbs, I said, Freddie Gibbs, I don't give a fuck if you a rapper, nigga. I'm doing my thing and I'm getting more money than you. If that nigga had said, yo, Ak, you pussy, throw your tax returns up, I would have threw my tax returns on Twitter. You cannot you can't, I don't do chicken when it comes to, I always put the truth out. Even if it makes me look crazy, fuck it. These niggas, they're talking about certain things that's missing, but then we hear Joe's side. Joe say y'all are overpaid. Who knows when y'all were overpaid? Were y'all overpaid in times when the podcast didn't have no deal? Was Joe going out of his pocket to overpay y'all? How much money were y'all getting? So when y'all to say 400,000, y'all got to give the whole context. What was your salary, my nigga? What was the percentage? If I'm going to talk about Joe and I'm in their position, I told that nigga, I said, I guarantee these pussy niggas, they won't ever come out and be real. Because these niggas act like they're too cool for school. If it was me versus Joe, nigga, I'm going to tell you from day one, yo, from July 31st, whatever year to that year, I made no money. Then I started getting $18,000 a year. Then I start getting this. Then he got Spotify. Then I got paid this. Then I was offered and I was offered and I was entitled to this percentage of the profits. Bro, they're talking about shit that we don't even know where it came from. If you gonna be transparent, give it all. If you gonna be transparent, give it all. Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. If I was paying these niggas out of my pocket before a deal, and then I get a deal or I get some money from whatever, I'm subtracting it. We got to recoup. That's how the records label do it. We got to recoup. All I'm saying is that I'm not even going to say they're lying, but I'm not going to discuss them saying $400,000 until they're transparent as fuck. Don't talk about $400,000 missing. How much were you getting paid, nigga? How much were you entitled to, nigga? How much was the revenue coming in, nigga? If you're not going to talk about that, don't just mention numbers. Because if I was about it, if it was me and Joe, if y'all realize also I love Joe. I remember when it came to Everyday Show, and I was like, yo, Joe, chill out with this and Everyday Show while I'm on this shit, because it feel like you kicking in the back of a shoulder. Joe, chill. You know why? Because, nigga, I'm down to go there with anybody. I put every fucking conversation, every detail on the screen. Y'all will never, ever call me a liar. Don't just throw things out. It's going to be he said, she said. This is exactly what Love and Hip Hop is. Joe about to talk next. Y'all going to believe Joe again. Then these dick-sucking ass things going to talk again. You might believe them again. You know what you could do to end all this shit? If I was in their position, my contract is up on the screen. Fuck that. I'm showing you messages. Y'all remember when all these rappers used to be lying on me, blah, blah, blah. How many times I put Nicki messages on the screen? Don't lie on me. Because my integrity is all I got. And I don't expose messages with rappers, but if you lie on me and you start impugning on my integrity, I'm going to expose everything. So when I hear them saying selective shit, okay, cool, I hear the 400,000. That sounds fucked up. But bro, y'all not telling us nothing else. How much were y'all being paid, nigga? Talk about it. Did at any point Joe take a loss by paying y'all while not having a deal? Y'all ain't talking about that. Y'all not keeping it 100. And that's why I said, I promise y'all they will never win a narrative war against Joe because Joe's like me. Joe gonna go on the next episode. I promise you. Joe's gonna go on there and he's gonna tell y'all so much information that these bums never told y'all. You're gonna be like, fuck. Y'all complain after this? I promise you. Who wanna bet? Somebody said, act mad that they got bread. They got through 400,000 in the stock market like 3 days ago. What the fuck you think? 400,000 is bread? I know y'all niggas ain't told me. And by the way, the 400,000 they told me I was missing it did not belong to them. And they told me 6 years. Stop it. Don't y'all ever talk. Nigga, I violate these niggas in every single type of way. Nigga, I'm trying to find where Rory mama live. I'm about to buy that shit. I'm trying to make Shorty homeless. You know me. I'm devious. Nigga, I'll buy it and just demolish it. Fuck it. Y'all know how I get down. Nigga say I'm mad at. If you're not told my Charlemagne the God, there's not one of these media niggas getting more than me. That's what I'm gonna tell y'all. I've been telling y'all that shit. So I don't know what y'all think that there ain't no jealousy that could be on my plate. You know what I mean? I keep telling you, I live like a rapper. Sorry. Well, actually, Vlad lived like that too. But Vlad don't be talking shit. I was talking to Vlad yesterday. I told him, like, yo, talk some shit, man. He be coolin'. I don't know. No Jumper might live like that too. That nigga doing pornos, all type of shit. Who knows? All right, anyway, let's keep listening to these bozos.
Life. So that for me was telling. I was like, oh, this nigga's, he's transforming into somebody else.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, why is it an issue? But for me, it was like, you know, you just talking to certain people and everybody telling you like, yo, listen, I did business with him. Watch that nigga, man. I'm like, Joe ain't gonna do that to me. That's my nigga. He ain't doing that with me.
It honestly never even crossed my mind.
Never crossed
period.
my mind. But now when this becoming argumentative and niggas are saying this and saying that, every time accounting comes up, I'm like, fam, why is it only an issue when accounting comes up?
The same way he said, why is it only a problem when money get brought in?
And again, my thing is, it's not about the money. It just became a point where the respect level just started to disappear, and you start talking to me like,
yo, I hate these niggas. Bro, it is about the money. Oh, no, it's cool with being robbed, but then it's when he started disrespecting me. Stop it, dog. You're not here doing this thing talking about him respecting you. You're talking about money. It is about money. It's fine, bro. It's about money.
I work for you. And it's like, my nigga, I don't work for you. I don't work for you, bro. I don't know what type of meetings you having and who's talking to you and who's breaking down what to you. I don't work for you, bro. Like, this is something we built and pushed together. Yeah, I came on episode 77.
Mealy Mo, you work for the Joe Budden podcast. I don't know why. I think y'all have sat so close to Joe, y'all are delusional. Don't let Joe talking equity make y'all be delusional. I keep telling y'all, there's nothing wrong with being a worker. I, along with Joe, we're workers at Complex. Bro, you don't own the Joe Budden podcast. You have a contract. Even if it's participation based, you are a worker, my nigga. Bro, y'all talking all that shit. I don't think Joe Budden got 1 million subscribers on YouTube yet. When me and Joe got to Complex, we got them to the first million and they got them to the second in 6 months. Y'all been there 6 fucking years. I couldn't sit there and talking about, oh, I helped build Complex. I'm not no worker. I was a fucking worker, nigga. Why are y'all are resentful of that title because y'all don't own nothing? I could admit when I'm a worker because I got my shit that I own. I'm not a worker at the DJ Akademiks company. No, I own it. But at Complex, I'm a worker. It's fine. It's a duality of life. You don't have to be, we're not on some Dame Dash shit saying you only got to be a boss. Just accept what it is and also work to create some other shit that is yours. Y'all never had the ambition to try to create your own. So that's why you're in denial about where y'all do work and y'all trying to say it's not what it is. Y'all are workers. It's fine. I'm giving y'all real life examples. You think I could go in the complex and say, I help y'all, I built y'all to here. I own this. You think they invite me to board meetings? You think they invite me to all that shit? No. I'm a worker. Was part of them hiring me to help build? Was part of Joe hiring you to help build? Yes. Because you built doesn't mean you own. No. How much times do I have to tell you this, Mealy Mall? You're 40. Your brother was Biggs. Your brother was part owner allegedly in Rockefeller. How are you this fucking dumb? I keep calling you Jay-Z's pre-cum because it's clear you just didn't get it all. It's like you a preemie, nigga. Fuck is up with you? But let's keep watching.
But who gives a fuck? Before that, it wasn't no money here. Let's just be honest. It wasn't what it is now.
And you never argued IP. I want to make that clear.
Never.
Rory never argued IP. Maul never argued IP.
I never argued that. It was never about that. I'm like, fam, I want this to be I want this to be as simple and easy as possible. This should be the simplest bag, the simplest money we ever make, because essentially what are we doing? We sitting down as friends and we kicking it. Yeah. We don't have to complicate this thing. But then after a while, once bigger checks start to come in, and once we're touring and all of this, it's like you start to see niggas moving certain ways, and it's like, all right, fam, it's just weird. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And for a while, my energy started to disappear because, like I said, I don't even know who I'm dealing with anymore at this point. Mm-hmm. And I know money changes niggas, and I understand that.
No, it doesn't. Money doesn't change anyway.
Money magnifies who you are.
Makes you more of what you already are.
It magnifies who you are. And I get it, bro. Like, I understand.
And again, this is not an assassination character. Sorry to cut you off. It's not an assassination character because I don't want to go in the same route that they went.
I hate when people say money doesn't change people, and they're usually saying it from the perspective of they're not the person allegedly with the bulk of the money. Money changes everybody. When money is added to a situation, people, whether you have the money or you don't have the money, people start acting differently to you. I can't tell you enough of people who now talk to me in my life talking about, yo, you changed up. Why you not doing this like when you didn't have whatever. And a lot of times my answer to them is, bro, do you know how much things I do a day? You want me to act like I have the ultimate free time and like I was just bored and you want me to hit you up all the time? Bro, I'm busy a lot of times. I got to do these things. I have obligations. Money changes everybody. It doesn't only change a person with the money, changes the person who have been around that person when they didn't have the money. So I always say that. Also entitlement. Now people feel like, yo, I'm going to be honest with you. This is an ongoing conversation in my personal life. People been saying to me, well, you're having these friends or business associates that's enjoying this that comes along with the money you have. But what about me? I knew you from blah, blah, blah. I knew you from blah, blah, blah. It's hard to explain to those people that what I'm doing and the people who's around have something to do with my business now, and maybe you don't. So money changes everybody. I'm trying to tell you that it's not only the change on the person with the money, it's the change on the people who have been around you before the money. Just let you know.
I'm not assassinating.
Joe has done great things with money and great positive things, because I do think there is a good part of him, but there's also this other part.
Right. Absolutely.
Which you're speaking to.
Yeah,
I think Joe has some amazing qualities.
I think so too when he wants to. But I also I'm learning because, see, you got to give shit time to fall the way it's gonna fall.
Yeah, you got to give time
right?
time.
And you got to just watch people. And I heard Joe say, "Oh yeah, me and Maul never broke down a bag or bust down bread together," whatever he said. And I'm like, my nigga, that's not true. Like, but when you was still rapping and shit, I had you do verses for niggas that I know. I had you do videos with niggas that I know. Like, I had you through walkthroughs with promoters that I know, like in Connecticut and shit like that. Like, I tried to like bring shit to the table, like, but again, it's never about money for me. It's all about, you my man. Listen, if it's some bread out here to get, go get it. If I know some niggas that's trying to do a party and they want you to do a walkthrough and all that, here, let me set it up for you. But now, you know, that is bigger money coming in and all that. Shit just got weird, bro. Like, shit just got very weird for me. And I'm not good with doing weird shit. I don't do weird shit. I don't like weird energy from niggas.
Again, I got to push it in context. Y'all hearing these niggas' perspective. I ain't giving Joe's perspective, but I know when niggas start talking like this, they're neglecting something. This is the same nigga. He's talking about how money has changed, possibly Joe. But this is the same nigga who is on a podcast talking about money and business. And he's the same nigga that 3 weeks ago was talking about, I don't give a fuck about podcasting, or I don't give a fuck about business, or I don't give a fuck about a contract. Could you imagine how Joe feels? What the fuck? Nigga, you just said these things don't concern you and you don't care about it, but now you're pressing me legally. Your lawyers are hitting me up querying certain shit that has to do with all the shit you publicly stated you don't care about. You don't care about podcasting, yet you are caring about what the podcast is going to do, what the decisions are going to be, where they're going to go, ownership. You should say you didn't care about it. You don't care about money and shit like that, but you're clearly arguing over it. These niggas, they're not being transparent. There was a time when I told y'all these niggas, they were mad over money. These niggas try to come back and say it was over respect. Oh, we're just mad because you don't respect us. Is it clear that that was over money at this point?
Like, I remove once I see niggas doing weird, funny shit, I just get away from that. Like, I don't even want to be around that type of shit. And now it's to a point where you saying things and, you know, you got other niggas in the room saying things and chiming in. And I'm like, yo, what's up with y'all niggas? Like, what the fuck is going on? So now I'm sitting here working. Now everything is starting to become really clear to me. Like, shit is starting to really become clear to me. Like, oh, you niggas been having little conversations and conspiring shit for a minute. You niggas been trying to, like, set shit, you know, playing with the chess pieces and try to set shit up to look a certain way for a while now, because now that the shit is out the bag, I'm starting to see everybody's true feelings on certain things. And people is talking about business that they don't know nothing about. They talking about contracts that they don't know nothing about. And I'm just like, fam, what the fuck is going on here, man? And then you saying shit, I lived with you. You making it sound like, oh, nigga, I wasn't. When you met me, I had money in my pocket, nigga. I might have had more money in my pocket.
Nigga, you have money in your pocket to buy some more Tide Pods, some more detergent. I don't even think I don't think you were like a fabric softener type of guy. Nah, I don't think you were that type of guy. You definitely never used bleach. No way. You had money for Tide Pods. That's about it.
Than you had if we keeping it 100. I was always hustling. Always doing.
Wait, hold on. I ain't gonna lie. Yo, Joe, these niggas said you were broke as fuck too, nigga. I wish a nigga coming to my vicinity would say that.
Talking about contracts that they don't know nothing about. And I'm just like, fam, what the fuck is going on here, man? And then you saying shit, I lived with you. You making it sound like, oh, nigga, I wasn't. When you met me, I had money in my pocket, nigga. I might have had more money in my pocket than you had if we keeping it 100.
Yo, Joe, you was broke? Yo, Joe, no fucking way. When Joe meet this nigga? Yo, Joe, you was broke as fuck? Oh, hell nah. Yo, I keep telling, shout out to my man DJ Ghost. He said this recently. YouTubers got more money than rappers. Joe, that nigga says you were broke as fuck when he met you. And we know he ain't had